So we'll be looking at another Eternity post on the Eternity section on the Mabinogi Korean site. So, teacher, I have cool skin tone. So this post is about like skin tones and like how they work in Pleon Engine and like how they are going to be reworked into Unreal. So why do the colors I see on the color chip look different from the colors applied to the actual character? I chose the same skin color, but why do humans, elves, and giants appear as different colors? It was such a shame that we couldn't express various skin tones. So why are the actual application colors different? This phenomenon is due to Mabinogi's existing character creation method. In Mabinogi, the character's skin color was implemented based on fixed color values. This method made the colors look different even when the same color was applied because each race had different color values. In Pleon, this color value was fixed, so it was an area that could not be modified. Because fixed color values had the advantage of making the colors richer until recently, skin tones in Unreal were being developed similar to those in Pleon. It's Unreal, so this shouldn't be a limitation. We decided to find another way to improve. It was always a shame that I couldn't apply the desired skin color to the character. To address this limitation, a complete overhaul of the manufacturing method was required. Delete the fixed values specified in the modeling itself. We've made changes to the texture creation method based on gray so that colors can be accurately applied to the skin based on color values. So here you can see an example. Changed the skin color that had a fixed value to gray. There's nothing wrong with the image. And this is a comparison image of Pleon and Unreal with the same skin color applied after modifying the production method. As you can see, Unreal focuses on creating an environment where it is easy to express a variety of personalities by implementing skin color as is. In the future, you will be able to have fun finding a personal color that matches your character's color preference, and making your personality and charm stand out even more. We will continue to work to create a more immersive and enjoyable environment in the future. So yeah, this was a interesting post that explains how the skin colors currently work in Pleon Engine, and what needs to be done to make them work better in Unreal Engine. New facial. So we'll be looking at another post on the Korean Eternity section about faces in Mabinogi and how they're going to be reworked in Unreal Engine. So, Eternity supports 3-dimensional facial expressions. In this post, I'd like to take time to explain the new facial appearance of Eternity. So, currently in Mabinogi, all eyes and mouths are implemented by rendering textures, 2D pictures, onto the face mesh 3D model. To put it simply, blinking eyes, beauty coupons, smiling faces, and crying faces are all implemented by replacing the textures that are rendered at the time. Okay, so this is showing how like the eyes and the face work. So you can see like the examples here and here, and this is like how blinking works. But it's already been 20 years since Militians have lived in Erin. In the meantime, the world has developed rapidly and the appearances of characters in games have become more standardized day by day. These days, games implement beautiful appearances with mesh molding rather than textures. Since textures are only 2D images, it is difficult to express three-dimensionality or natural movements. Despite the painstaking efforts and research into extreme expressions possible with textures, there are fundamental limits to the range of expressions possible with textures. However, the data accumulated over decades of service and technical limitations of the old engine were holding us back, and it was difficult to proceed while modifying the structure of the game that was already in the midst of a fierce live service. But we are working on replacing it with Unreal Engine. If that's the case, wouldn't Mabinogi also be able to have characters with beautiful appearances like in modern games? Since we're making a new one anyway. But there are some things to consider first. So first, there is a cartoon-like emotional expression unique to Mabinogi that is only possible with textures. This kind of expression is hard to make with mesh, and even if you do, it doesn't have the unique feel of a texture. I mentioned earlier that it's hard to bring out a sense of three-dimensionality with texture, but in this case it's more natural expression to remove the sense of three-dimensionality. If you look closely at the first expression in particular, the mouth is sticking out of the face, which you can see here, which is a very ambiguous part to make with mesh. Also, these cartoonish expressions are a unique sensibility of Mabinogi. And second, if you decide to express all the existing texture eyes with meshes, you can't help but think about the fate of the hundreds of existing texture eyes. Since it's a game that's been in service for a long time, there are cases where the resolution of old resources is low, causing a jagged staircase phenomenon in the eyebrows. Then there may be an option to upscale old texture resources, in which case there may be a slight change in impression. From the developer's point of view, the intention was to provide a clearer appearance by cleaning up with the lines and increasing the resolution, but the change in impression felt by the Militians was much greater than we expected. Therefore, even simple upscaling is an area that must be approached carefully. After much internal thought and discussion, we decided to remake all texture eyes in mesh form, except for the expression textures that appear briefly. We will do our best to minimize the difference in impression that will occur during this process. Because of the issues mentioned above, we couldn't completely abandon the eyes or mouths expressed with texture. We sought a way to express both. First of all, since the basic eye expression has changed from texture to mesh, the method of simply replacing the stickers to be attached to the mesh as shown above cannot be used. Instead, the mesh itself for the eye area needs to be replaced. To do this, Eternity had to separate the face part into eye, mouth, face, shape sections. So here you can see the three different sections. There's the face, and then there's the eyes, and then there's the mouth. In the future, instead of just replacing the stickers that go on the eyes or mouth area, you'll be replacing the eyes or chin itself. To continue with the following explanation, we first need to know about morphing. It's similar in 3D. It's a smooth connection between mesh in state A to mesh in state B. Morphing allows you to create a variety of expressions from a single eye-mouth mesh. For completely different shaped eyes, such as Beauty Coupon, you must replace the mesh itself. So how do we express both mesh eyes and texture eyes through this morphing thing? From now on, Eternity's characters are Transformers. The purpose of this unidentified mask is as follows. So when making an expression that can only be expressed with this type of texture, the mask moves forward in front of the eyes through morphing, attaching texture to the advanced mask. When it returns to the default expression after a certain amount of time has passed, back again through morphing behind the eyes. This process allowed us to express both texture and mesh expressions as needed. And you can see how like the texture expression like pushes out and moves and it covers the eyes. So that's how that works. But in the actual game, it's processed in a split second, so you don't notice these processes. But like, this is what's really going on. That's cool. The mouth is processed in the same way as the eyes. So far, we have introduced you to Eternity's new facial system. How do you like it? I'm already excited to walk around in Erin with my new look. I hope you Militians like it too. So yeah, this was a very interesting read about like how faces currently work in Leon Engine and how they're going to work in Unreal Engine. Alright, let's look at another post in the Korean Eternity section. So, Mabinogi H-line skirt production. In this article, I will introduce the process of making a slim skirt, a type of skirt that is not commonly used in games. In the last post, the fact is that the Popo skirt is, that's covered in one of the other Eternity posts. We covered the process of combining key animation, physics, and retargeting to create a flowing skirt and hair. However, in Mabinogi, there are various costumes that are difficult to solve with this method alone. This time in particular, we'll talk about the process of expressing clothing such as the slim skirt that fits the legs perfectly. A short, slim skirt, usually above the knees, is often worn with skinning on the legs. What is skinning? It is a process of applying weights to the surface mesh of a 3D model so that it can move along with the bone that moves along the character. I think the stewardess costume would be the equivalent of the slim skirt example given above. You can see that there are no major problems even if you walk or sit down. So here you can see the stewardess costume. And there's the character like sitting, and there's the character moving, and you can see how like the skirt is moving with the character. So yeah, that looks really good. Among the slim skirts, the slim skirt that goes down to below the knees is not often used in character settings based on this book. An example would be the Eleanor New Look dress. I think the developers put a lot of thought into presenting as many different chairs as possible. It couldn't be helped. I created a skirt pattern using the method used in the Popo skirt is actually post, and then proceeded with skinning it. The skirt's natural form, which is attractive for its fitted feel on the legs, was not preserved, and instead it ended up looking too eerie, which was not what was intended. So here you can see what it looks like. This time I tried skinning the legs like I did for the stewardess costume. And here you can see what it looks like in this example. It kind of looks like the legs are kind of clipping through in the back, maybe? I don't know. And maybe in the front, like kind of near the knees. When standing still, the fit is maintained, but when moving, the skin on the knees and thighs is exposed through the clothing. So yeah, I was right. So if you look at it, you can see like the skin coming through on the knees and like the back of their legs. It's like clipping through. That's bad. A sense of form, natural movement, unable to give up either one, I began to wonder if there was a way to express the advantages of both methods. Is there any way to maintain a fitted shape but prevent skin from poking through the knees and thighs? I installed an additional piece to assist with rotation according to the movement of the leg. Yeah, you don't want clipping through the actual skirt or clothing because that just doesn't look good. However, I was not able to get satisfactory results because the texture between the legs was excessively stretched. Splitting the skirt mesh did not stop the map from growing. So you can see how like it's too stretched out, like right here. To compensate for the excessive stretching of the texture, I set up an additional bone that only follows 70% of the leg movement when the leg moves along a certain axis. But it's not easy, problems still occur. Like you can see in this, that still looks a little stretched out down here, it doesn't look good. Though it responded to the rotation of the body, it did not respond to the change in length, so the shape of the skirt became even more strange. There were more problems than I can list in the text. We added nodes that respond to changes in the length of the main body and control the length of the auxiliary body, and we did some additional work on some parts and tested them. So you can see like a picture here where like the skin of the knee and part of the leg is like coming through the skirt, and here it's not. In the test environment, it seems to have been somewhat resolved. So this looks a little bit better in this example. It's not perfect, but it's better. How would this be applied in the in-game environment? Here's another example. Yeah, this looks a lot better. Although it's not as perfect as in reality, you can see that the shape of the skirt is maintained and the texture is greatly improved in stretching areas. The part where the skin was poking out also disappeared completely. So yeah, it doesn't look perfect, but it is a massive improvement over the other results. Let's compare the images when skinning was done only on the legs without additional bone settings, and when skinning was done after the additional bone settings. So this is what it looked like before, this is what it looked like after. Before, after. Yeah, you can see that this looks a lot better. Looking at the before and after images, it seems to have improved a lot. Of course, due to the nature of the game, there may still be some imperfect parts. But moving away from expressions like steel hair or steel skirts, we are constantly working to ensure that you, the Militians, can enjoy the show as beautifully as possible. So yeah, I think they're working really hard on this. Alright, let's look at another post in the Korean Eternity section of Mabinogi. So, high heel straps are not even. As you all know, there is a very strange phenomenon in Eren. It is a phenomenon where you are clearly wearing stockings, but when you change your shoes, they change into leggings. So here's the example. However, there are shoes that do not exhibit this strange phenomenon. So it only happens with like certain pairs of shoes, like with the bunny slippers, it's not happening, and then like with these shoes, it is. To explain this, let's take a quick detour and look at body structure of Militians. The body of Militian includes the feet. Because the basic foot shape was made flat, it was impossible to express a pointed toe like when wearing high heels. We have successfully implemented the method of hiding the base foot and attaching the high heels to the body. However, because the basic feet are artificially hidden, development proceeds with two problems. So 1, due to the absence of a basic foot, the shoe itself had to be designed to have a foot designed so that the instep is not visible. And 2, because the ankle connecting the leg and shoe was not smooth, the design of the ankle strap had to be included. Since the base foot was removed, it was impossible to wear high heels on bare feet. But this was solved by adding instep skin to the shoes. So that's how the strange phenomenon mentioned earlier occurred. What it looks like when you wear high heels that reveal the instep. From the development team's perspective, it was a bit awkward for the stockings to disappear when the instep was exposed. But in order to solve this, depending on the type of item, a new system had to be built to allow for separate shader code to be executed. When rendering the instep skin of the shoe, we also needed the ability to reference the foot texture on the outfit. It was impossible to solve these problems in Pleon Engine, which has a lot of legacy code woven into it. However, Eternity's Unreal Engine supports all the features mentioned above. Design constraints 1 and 2 have been removed. The screenshot below is the result of testing the Love Island decoration shoes by making them in the Eternity high heel modeling method. You can see that the stockings and shoes are worn together, but they are still connected at the ankle without any break. So when wearing Love Island decoration shoes with Love Island decoration wear and Street Magician outfit and stockings. So here you can see that the problem isn't happening anymore. The new high heels from Eternity will be more attractive and natural as shown in the example above. So yeah, it's nice they're fixing little outfit glitches like this. Should give a lot more fashion choices when we move to Eternity. Alright, let's look at another post in the Korean Eternity section. So this one's walking into Unreal, Tara's construction. In the early stages of the move, we prioritized concerns like how can we implement the unique sensibility of Mabinogi in Unreal Engine. Just when we thought we could catch our breath after achieving small but meaningful results, we were immediately faced with the mission to rebuild a massive amount of buildings that had been produced over 20 years ago. Really, we got stuck in a swamp of production that seemed to have no end. The workload was overwhelming, but because each building had its own unique theme and identity, we had no choice but to personally create each one with great care. So here we can see some of the buildings in Dumbarton. There were buildings with elaborate patterns all over the city, and the problem was that there was really a lot of them. So modularize it. So that's how the modularization process started. Fortunately, Tara was a city with standardized designs, so it was possible to plan the separation and reorganization of buildings. Thanks to this, we were able to plan an efficient work process, and the background team was able to get one step closer to completing the reconstruction mission. What is modularization? Modularization is a game production method that divides various elements that make up a 3D environment into small reusable units, or modules, and combines these into various configurations to create environments or structures. Each module has a basic structure, and by placing or combining several of them, it is possible to create complex backgrounds. For example, by combining several types of wall sets and columns and stairs to fill in the gaps, you can create several buildings of various sizes. So this shows you like an example of what you can combine and how it can like make a building. So that looks really good. So I tried to generate an example of modularization using AI. It's similar but not exact. So yeah, it looks good, but it's not exactly like it should be for Mabinogi. So first gather buildings with the same theme, then figure out what can be used repeatedly for each building with that theme, and consider width, height, depth, design, features, etc. to plan how to divide them. Then start with a large classification and narrow it down to details. Then reverse assemble them to check if there are any things you missed during the division. It may look like it will be easy when you see the image, but since Mabinogi was not designed to be modular from the beginning, It is actually much more difficult than you might think. It seems complicated. Is there a reason for modularizing it to this extent? The first is efficiency. Since you can combine multiple modules to create various shapes, you can produce a variety of products while reducing repetitive work. You only need to work on one set of modules, and you can create multiple building combinations with it. The second is flexibility in design changes. Modification of one module automatically reflects everywhere that the module is used, so design changes can be applied in batches. In addition, the modular system is advantageous in applying various concept styles. For example, applying different concepts and colors to the same wall module can produce results with different moods. The third one helps with optimization. Many objects affect performance when rendered. Using modular backgrounds reduces redundant data and allows you to load and render some of them as needed, which helps optimize performance. You can improve performance by loading only modules needed in certain areas to minimize memory usage and dynamically loading modules according to the camera's view. And the fourth is reusability. Modular parts can be reused in completely different environments, allowing content creation while maintaining a consistent identity. The same modular structure of windows, doors, and building walls used in Tara can be applied to other towns in the future. Even if it cannot be used in the towns currently produced due to the concept implementation issues, it can be used as a foundation for new content that will be updated in the future, allowing for smoother world building. So here you can see what some of the buildings in Tara will look like in Unreal Engine. These are the Tara buildings that have actually been modularized. We are putting a lot of effort into making them efficient while maintaining quality. Can you imagine what the new Tara will look like? We are diligently continuing to accumulate architectural know-how so that we can simultaneously take advantage of the original identity of Mabinogi's background and the new environment called Unreal. In this way, Mabinogi's background is continuously being built and expanded with various attempts and considerations, so we ask for your interest and support. So yeah, this was a really good post. It's nice to see what some of these buildings will look like in Unreal Engine. Alright, let's play more Mabinogi today. So, mostly commerce, gotta focus on that. Close to silver 3. So yeah, I'll get to silver 3 today and hopefully most of the way to silver 2. See what they have in Dumbarton.
한숨 돌리고 이랬으면. 또 레브레카네?
So, what do they have to trade here? And take these to Core Village. Is it really worth going all the way over to Idia though? I mean, they're worth 549 at Tailton. That's almost as much. No, I think I'll just take him to Tailton. Save the whole boat ride thing for later. Hey, welcome in, Otaku. Mostly doing commerce again. So this stuff is worth 549 here. Looks like they have alchemy crystals too. Can take those to E-main, okay. 302, that's not too bad. So to get to E-main, I'll go back the way I came into the Dumbarton area, then through, then we'll take the path to E-main. They do have whole barbecue bear here. Yeah, I guess I'll take it. The problem is it's worth the most in Vales, so the camel will be fast up until I get to Port Cian, but slow in Vales, but the elephant will be a little bit slower. How much can I carry with the elephant, though? The same amount. No, that's fine. I'll use the camel. Okay, so the boarding is at 9, and then... Okay, that means it leaves at 11. Wait, are the ship times for the one over here different or the same? They're the same. Okay. I don't think I have time for another puzzle, but I could do a thing of memory match. Too bad you can't play minigames while the ship is actually moving. Kind of weird that doesn't let you do that. And silver 3. So some bandit reduction candy. It's a long way to Challenger. 130,000 just to get the silver 2, which I probably won't get today, but I'm hoping I get to maybe like 110k today or something like that. Maybe get to silver 2 by the end of the week. Yeah, commerce can be pretty fun. It's also nice and relaxing. At least normal commerce is. Airship commerce does require a group, but for the most part that's pretty relaxing too. You're pretty much just waiting on the ship with friends until the attack comes. Well, unless you're driving the ship, but... yeah, there's some commerce groups out there. For like the airship stuff. Let's take those raspberries to Quilla. And then if you want more serious commerce that has like more work involved, there's also the bartering. And with bartering you actually have to like gather materials for your trade goods. So like gather materials using life skills outside of commerce to be able to trade stuff. But I don't really do too much bartering. Oh, I do have that reduction candy now. I should probably use some of that. I wonder where it went off to. Oh, here it is. Put this up here, and this stuff is... so this won't stop bandits from showing up, but will reduce the number of bandits that show up. Oh, the bridges are actually out this time. Okay. Let's see if I can find that other one from this end. There. See if they have anything at Tilton. Take these Bangor. Let's see what Turconail has next. So, alpaca. Okay, we'll take these to Tara. How long before the speed potion wears off? 19 minutes. Okay, I'll run to Tara, then I'll probably do a run from Tara to somewhere else. And then after that, maybe I'll do a run from Belfast. So I'll want to use the camel here. Let's take these bunk beds to Bangor for 985.
거기 이쁘게 생긴 형님.
Okay, let's take some Highlander ore to Tara. Actually, I could just take it to Belvast since I was planning on doing a trade run from there anyway. Yeah, I think that'll work. Let's go to Cobb. And then the speed potion will wear off by around the time that I get there. And then we'll go to Belvast, sell this stuff, and then pick up some stuff at Belvast to bring back here. Gonna be board at 1900. Okay, so I'm gonna take this ogre armor to Tilton, it looks like. And these iron whips as well. And while we wait to get back to Ulad, I will be right back. So off to Tilton, right? This stuff is worth 219 there, and this stuff is worth... yeah, okay. Okay, all that stuff is sold. Let's take these to Bangor. See if they have any of those skills to trade from here. '86 in Tara. Take some of those jellyfish too. and seaweed. So I guess I'll take some bunk beds to Bangor then for 982. And now that speed potion is worn off, I'm gonna see if there's anything from Dumbarton we can sell. Maybe make a trip to Idia. If not, maybe I'll go to Belvast.
모험가 조합은 이쪽이에요.
Yeah, they don't have anything here. What about coracle rubber? Does Idia have any of that? If there's no coracle rubber, then I'll make a Belvast run. I'm not expecting there to be any, like they're usually out of stock. Yep, that's what I thought. Okay, so then we'll go to Belvast, do another run from here. So take this stuff to Tilton, and then some iron whips as well. Oh, there, I got it. Solved it just in time. Let's take this to core. So off to Quilla, and this will probably be the last commerce run I make today. So it looks like the only thing new going on tomorrow is the Raid the Tomb event, which I don't think too many players are looking forward to. It'd be a 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. maintenance. This one starts a little early. How much time do I have before I get to Idia? Oh good, the ship hasn't even departed yet. Oh, so this is about like the new life update and the farming. So I guess the new life update isn't really going over that well. Because I guess it's a lot of work and there's already problems with it. Well, that's too bad. I haven't really done enough new life farming to actually run into those issues myself, but it doesn't sound too good. Off to Core Village. Alright, I think that's good enough for commerce for today. So we'll do some commerce tomorrow, probably get to Silver 2 tomorrow. And then probably get to Silver 1 sometime early next week.